Another scenario that's going to happen as you get into locksmithing, customer is going to bring in a lock set, and along with that lock set, they're going to have a master key. They're going to bring in and they're going to say, you know, I want this this lock here fixed so it will work with my master key. And so we need to know how to do that. So the first thing that we have to do is take our key gauge and read the cuts of the key. Now, you know, with the Schlage key, they put the cuts right on the key, so we can just simply read the key. But had they not done that, we could have used our key gauge and went in and gauged the key out. So you can see there at the first space is again, hold the key nice and straight up and down, push it down as far as it will go, nice and perpendicular to the little tool, and you see it lines up on the 3 for the first space. The next space also is a 3. The next space goes down all the way down to 7. So we got a 3, 3, 7, and then the number 4 space is a 6, and the number 5 is an 8. So we got 3, 3, 7, 6, 8. Okay, I just pulled another key from the key bucket that we're going to use for a change key, and the cuts on that key are 8, 7, 7, 4, 6. So we simply find our bottom pins, just like we did before. The smallest number, 3 and 8, it's a 3, 3 and 7, it's a 3, 7 and 7, it's a 7, 6 and 4, it's a 4, 8 and 6 is going to be a 6. And then we're going to subtract to get our master pins. 3 from 8 would be a 5, 3 from 7 is a 4, there won't be one in the third chamber. 6 and 4 we have a 2, and 8 and 6 we have a 2. So we'll key that up. Bottom pins 3, 3, 7, 4, 6, master pins 5, 4, no master pin, then a 2 and a 2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pin this lock up. And again, this will be just like we did it with rekeying. So if you need to review what we did in the rekeying video, go back and take a look at that. First thing we do is, again, this is a Schlage lock. We have this, it's a deadbolt. We have the cap here that holds the plug in. So we're going to go ahead and take it out. So we have the cap, we have the tailpiece, there's a little dust cover on the tailpiece, then we have this little pin that locks the cap down, and then right inside there will be a little spring that we don't want to lose. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pin up the cylinder with the bottom pins, 3, 3, 7, 4, 6. Okay, now at number 3 on a Schlage lock is 210. We're going to need 2 of those. One. You'll see if you need to use tweezers to do this, you can use tweezers. Okay, then a 7 is a 270. The number 4 on a Schlage is a 225. It's the 4th chamber. So that was the 4th chamber I just did for the number 4. Now we're looking for a number 6 bottom pin. The number 6 is a 255. Okay, so we put our bottom pins in. Now we're going to just check and see what the master key looks like when we put it in. This key that was 33768. And we can see it looks flush on the first three. And then we can see that the first three chambers that this are flush for the master key. The fourth chamber is down slightly, and the fifth chamber is just slightly low. So this key will not work the way it is. It's going to need these master pins in here to make this master key work. Okay, so we need to fill in our master pins. Now I'm going to just put these last two in here to begin with, just so you can see how that will make this master key work with this lock. Now with the Schlage, the number 2 master pin is 30 thousandths. They're very tiny pins. And there we have them. So now you can see that the key is now flush. Okay, now we can see if we look right at each one of these chambers that now all 5 chambers, because we added the master pins here, that it's nice and flush. So this key will work with this lock. This is the master key. Okay, so I'm going to take this key out. I'm going to put the other key in. This is the change key. Now we see with the change key that these 2 master pins are sticking up. These will fall off the plug now because they're actually just riding on the surface of the plug. The first 2 chambers are low because they have not had their master pins added yet. So if we add their master pins, and we know that there was a 5 and a 4, we didn't need a master pin for the 3rd chamber, but we had the 5 and the 4. Okay, the 5 master pin for a Schlage 5 is 75 thousandths. So we'll put one of those in. That's in the first chamber. And then the number 4 is 60 thousandths. And that goes into the second chamber. So now that's nice and flush, except for these 2 master pins that are, of course, sticking up. Okay, we can see that these first 3 chambers, the pins are flush, and then you can see in 4 and 5, if I bump these master pins aside, you can see that in chambers 4 and 5 that the pins are flush. If this plug were back into the shell of the lock, then these master pins would be up inside the shell, and this key will turn. So we know that both keys, both the change key and the master key, will work the way we have our lock pinned up. Okay, so I'm going to very carefully go ahead and take this key out. We lost one of our master pins off of the 5th chamber there. So we're going to go ahead and push that pin down and put that little master pin back in there. So those are all in there. So I'm putting this back inside the lock. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that around to the 12 o'clock position. Okay, we can see that this key fits. And our other key fits. So that's how you would do that. If somebody brings a lock into you and they bring in their master key and say, pin that up to work with the master key, that's the way you would go about doing it. Okay, I wanted to share just one example of a master keying software that can generate these master key systems for you. If you have a large complex to do, this is the way to go, is to get a software and let it generate the biddings and tell you what pins, bottom pins, master pins, and so on to use. Now, these pretty much all work the same. The program that I have is called Master King by HPC. Up here at the top, we can see we can enter information about a new customer if we click on this icon here. If we have a new person that's using this software, we can enter information about who's using the software. Here we can start a new project, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do, is start a new project. I'm going to click on that. Okay, you can see the first thing we're going to do is choose the lock supplier. This first one is A-Bus, and you know, we can just work with this one, but I want to go ahead and show, just kind of drag down through the list here, that you have the ASA locks are on here. There's Best, Corbin, all the major manufacturers are on here. Emhart, Ilco, Kwikset, Medico, Russwin, Schlage, Yale. So you go in and you choose the lock system that you're going to be working with, and we can just go ahead and choose the first one, the A-Bus lock system. Maybe this is an industrial site that has 50 or 60 padlocks around the site. They want all these padlocks master keyed. So we can work with that as an example. Okay, you can see it brings up the information, space and depth information about the lock system. Shows 6 spaces, and then it shows 9 depths. And you know, as we said earlier, the more spaces and the more depths, the more possible combinations you're going to get for your master key system. Now here it brings up information that we can change. If we only want to key 5 chambers, we want to leave one of the chambers empty and only use 5 chambers in this lock, we can change the 6 to a 5. It shows the max that we're using is 7. And if we want to go down to our rule of 4, we could change that to a 4. I'm going to just leave it like this so we can see how many possible combinations it will bring up if we just leave it alone. Progression step, we're showing a 2. The shortest master pin a 2. Longest master pin is a 9. Shallowest cut is 0. Deepest cut 9. Total possible depths are 10. That includes the 0 and the 9 inclusively. You get a possible of 10 depths. So, again, that information could be changed if we wanted to change it. Okay, now here we can choose the number of levels that we want to operate with. And again, if we change the levels, that's going to affect possibilities that we're going to have and so on. Let's go to level 4. This software will go up to 5 levels. So let's say, okay, we're going to go to 4 levels. Now it's asking us to put in the bidding for the top master key. For the top master key, we're going to use 234, 234. I know that does not meet the rules of master keying, but this is just to demonstrate how the software works. It's not an actual job. Here are the possible combinations depending on how many chambers you want to repin. If you only want to use 1 chamber, you could get 4 combinations. If you change the pins in 2 chambers, chambers 1 and 2, you could get 16 possibilities. 3 would be 64, and 4 would be 256. So we know right away, let's say we only have 12 locks to rekey. We can do that by just changing the pins in 2 of the chambers, because there's a possible 16. If we have 50 locks to change or rekey, then we would want to go to at least 3 chambers. There are 64 possible combinations here. Here it's going to show us which of the chambers are going to be used to change for master pins. And the Grandmaster key, we only have 1 chamber that's going to be changed. So this Grandmaster key will be the same as the Great Grandmaster key, except for the first chamber. On the Master key, it has, again, just 1 column being used, 1 chamber being used. Let's go ahead and change this to where it can use 2. We'll allow it to use 2 chambers here for the master key. And then on the change keys, we have 3 chambers that are being used. And what will happen now is we'll get more master keys and less change keys. But we'll go ahead and run it like this, and we can just see how many of each that we get. Here you can see the possible cuts that are allowed for each one of the spaces. If we take the 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, and 4 out, in the first chamber, we're going to use the 2 for the top master key, so we still have 4, 6, 8, and 0 available. In chamber 2, we're going to use the 3 for the top master key, so 5, 7, 9, and 1 are available, and then so on. So there's 4 possible cuts available for each one of the chambers. Grand master key is 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. We put that in, and it shows us the bidding and pinning up here. Bottom pins 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then no master pins in that lock. And then if we go to the folders under that, we see that we have 4 grandmaster keys. And then under the grandmaster keys, let's go to D down here. We can see that we have master keys. There's 12. In this case, with D, there's 12 master keys. Let's look at DM. Then we can see, once we click on DM master key, which the cuts are 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, we can see the change keys come up here. If we scroll down, we can see that there are 57 change keys for master key DM under grandmaster key D. So we have 4 grandmasters, 12 masters, and 57 change keys for each one. Say we click on DM1, it will show us, again, the bottom pins and master pins. If you watch right here, you'll see those change. The only one that changed was the master pin on that one. Let me go down to DM10. Notice that we changed here. Okay, I just want to review the pattern of changes that's going on here with the keys. In the great grandmaster key, we have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 4 grandmaster keys, and the first cut is changed. All of the other cuts remain the same. We're only changing the first cut. In grandmaster key A, the change is from a 2 to a 4. In grandmaster key B, we go to a 6. C is an 8, and then D is a 0. So we're just changing the first cut. Now, if we look at the master keys under grandmaster key A, you can see that the 4 in the first cut is used all the way down. We're changing cuts 2 and 3 here. Instead of 4, 3, 4, we have 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 0, and so on. So we're changing cuts 2 and 3 to get the master keys. And if we look under master key AA, we can see that we have 4, 5, 6 all the way down, and we're changing one of the last 3 cuts. We go 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 0, 4, 5, 2, 4, 7, 6, 4, 7, 8, and so on. And then if we go all the way down to the very last change key, AA57, you see we're still using 4, 5, 6 for the first 3 cuts. The only cut that's changed is one of the last 3. If I click on change key 40, and we look at the pin up here, you can see change key 40 is cut to 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 8. Bottom pins 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Master pins 2, 2, 2, 6, 6, 4. Well, we can see that these pins will work for change key 40 because we have a 4, a 5, a 6, and then we have 8, 9, 8. 6 and 2 is 8, 6 and 3 is 9, 4 and 4 is 8. If we look at our great grandmaster key, our grandmaster key, and then our master key, you can see that, first off, the last 3 cuts are all 2, 3, 4. Those are going to work because those are the bottom pins. Grandmaster key, great grandmaster key 2, 3, 4, that will work because of the bottom pins. 4, 3, 4 will work. We have 4, 3, 4, and then the master pin 4, 5, 6 We have 2 and 2 is 4, 2 and 3 is 5, 2 and 4 is 6. So all three of these keys will work, and change key 40 will work with this pinup. I've listed the cuts for our keys: Great Grandmaster Key, Grandmaster Key, Master Key A, and the change key 40, so we can see exactly how the software progressed these cuts. And you remember during the setup, we said that the first cut could be progressioned for the Grandmaster Key. And notice that these are all 4s here. Grandmaster Key is going to have a 4 in the first cut for all of the locks that it will work. Then we said that cuts 2 and 3 could be progressioned for the master keys. And you'll notice here, cuts 2 and 3 have been changed, and you'll notice the same cuts on change key number 40. Then we said the last 3 cuts, cuts 4, 5, and 6, could be progressioned for the change keys. And you'll notice here that all 3 of those cuts have been changed for change key number 40. Now, if we look at the pin up here for lock number 40, if it's change key 40, see our bottom pins are 234, 234, master pins 222, 664. So in the first cut position here, we can use either a 2 or a 4 cut. And if we look up here, we have 1, 2, and then we have 4s. Cut number 2, we can use either a 3 or a 5 cut. You can see they're all 3s or 5s. Third cut, 4 or a 6. Again, these will all work. The fourth cut, we can use either a 2 or a 6, a 2 or an 8 cut. And you see we have 2s and 8s. Then in the fifth cut, we can use either a 3 or a 9. And again, we have 3s and then 1 9 here. And in the last cut, we can use either a 4 or an 8. And again, we have 4s and 1 8 here. So all of these cuts will work with this pinup. Okay, we can print this out. If we go to reports up here, it says report type, pin count, entire system, or range. Let's look at the entire system, and then let's look at the bitting and the pinning for the system, and let's print that. It'll come up here. We don't have to print it. It'll come up on the screen, and then you have the option to print it. So the total number of pages to print this out would be 148. We can click on the different change keys or master keys, and it'll show us the biddings and so on. So if we click on, say, master key DM, it'll bring us right to that particular key. Shows the cuts on the key 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. The bottom pins is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Master pins 2, 2, 2. And then if we have, change key DM1 is here. Cuts are 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Bottom pins are 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Master pins are all 2s. Then DM2 and so on. So you can send this to the printer and print it out. You can print out just part of it. You want to just print out the first couple of master keys. Whatever you need to print out, you can. Just to show you how large that the system is with 4 grandmasters and 12. There are 12 masters per each one, so there's a possible of 48 different master keys. And remember, there were 57 change keys for each one of the master keys. There's 48 possible master keys, so we'd have a possible of 2,736 change keys with this system. Nearly 3,000 change keys. So that'd be for a very, very large system. But I wanted to just, share that with you, that these softwares are available. There's quite a few on the internet to look at. And if you get into a big project, it'd be worth your while to invest in one of these softwares. Okay, now to practice your new skill, would suggest you get a couple of locks, and it doesn't matter if if one's a lever handle lock, or if it's a key and knob lock, or if it's a deadbolt. Any 2 locks that have the same keyway, you can master key them. So get a couple locks, practice on your own house, your front door, back door, garage door. Get a few locks, get out there and practice, you will need a pin kit. And now there are different sizes of kits. The full-size kits, the lab kits like I've used in my video, probably between $150 and $200 you could find one of those. There are smaller kits that you might be able to get, but you will have to have the master pins in order to master key the locks. So once you've got 2 locks, then you can practice your technique. Get a few key blanks, master key them up, change them a couple times, make sure all of the keys work each time, and you'll be well on your way to mastering the process of master keying.
Do not confuse keyed-alike with master-keyed. Keyed-alike, 2 or more locks are operated with the same key. Master-keyed, a lock can be operated with 2 or more different keys. The keys contain different cuts. Adding master pins to a lock increases the number of shear lines and makes the lock easier to pick. Using fewer master pins will normally increase the security of the lock. Accidental cross-keying is a concern for a master key system. Use of an organized key progression will normally reduce the chance of cross-keying. In designing a master key system, use the deepest cut and the shallowest cut. Do not use the top master key cuts in the same location on the change keys. Use a max of 4. Avoid the use of master wafers that are less than 30 thousandths. Avoid 4 consecutive like cuts. Use an odd-even or even-odd sequence. Do not use the letters I, O, or Q in coding. The proper abbreviations and coding for a 4-level master key system should look something like this. Level 4 is the Great Grand Master level, and the abbreviation and coding are the same, GGMK. Some locksmiths will mark it TMK for top master key. Level 3, the Grandmaster key, is normally just marked with a letter A or B and so on. Some experts argue that technically it should be marked GMKA or GMKB and so on. Level 2, the master keys are marked with 2 letters, and Level 1, the change keys are marked with 2 letters and a number. Rules and opinions about the best way to master key have changed over the years. If you are going to take any type of state certification test which covers master keying, try to get a study guide from the testing agency.
That concludes this course. We want to thank you for buying this course. We hope you found it interesting and informative.
Please take just a moment to like the video and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.